Hey guys, it's Justin, aka Hambone, just here to let you know a couple of things that we have going on with the channel. One, we have a Patreon. If you can and want to support us, you can do that. As little as $1. You can join the Discord. We also have a merch store where you can get some cool shirts, mugs, and stuff with all of our different shows and labels on there. And thank you for all of our supporters that have already been there with us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Starting 11 here on the Let's Get Ready Network. I'm Adelia. That's my buddy Snark. We're here to recap the last week in the English Premier League. I know we weren't here last week, but we had some unfortunate travel delays for one of us.
Okay. Just because you're Canadian doesn't mean you know how to drive in snow. I had like 2 million people reassure me that they cannot drive in snow. In southern Ontario, for shit. A little bit of snow, and everything got gummed up. To be fair, I had friends flying in through that weather, and they said they couldn't see the ground. They thought they were still in the clouds. And when the wheels hit, they thought they hit something.
Oh, God. That would be terrifying.
Yes. Yeah, that would have been the last flight I ever took in my entire life. But yeah, back this week. Didn't miss much last week. A certain team lost to another certain team that I don't like to speak about. That's it. That's the only thing that happened. Yeah, perfect. But lots of games this week. Oh my God. Including Arsenal playing twice in 3 days.
Twice in 3 days.
Liverpool.
Very different games.
Oh yeah.
Very different games.
Very different. Let's start with it. No problems with Everton. Or it seems that Everton didn't put up much of a fight against the league leaders.
A team that they just beaten like a month ago as well.
Yeah. Saka scores. Martinelli. Where's all the goals coming from Martinelli this year?
I don't know, but man, he's been great.
And here I was thinking I was all about Gabby Jesus or stuff like that, but of course he's injured for a while. Gabby Martinelli, 11 goals for Arsenal this year.
Yep.
Well, if you had that in your pool, congratulations. What a steal. Saka, another great game too. And Everton looks like a team that's slowly circling the bowl.
I'm not convinced Sean Dyche is going to be their savior like they think he is.
Yeah, they got the bump, they got that first that first game or whatever out of the way, and ever since they've been terrible. They're in a relegation spot as we sit here. And now I think they're only in it because of a tie with Leeds, but Leeds, of course, has a better goal differential. So, Everton, we hardly knew ye. See you later.
Leeds has a better goal differential by a lot too.
They've had a couple of matches where they scored. They could score. Yeah. They just had a whole lot of trouble eventually getting any goals at all. At the end of the Jesse Marsh era or whatever, those first couple months, like when they beat Chelsea and stuff like that at home, they looked fine. Like Chelsea was trash defensively and trash at net, but yeah, it looks like they had a team that should have been able to score, and they did. It just all dried up, but everything dried up for them. They just stopped winning and get rid of their guy, bring in their new guy. We'll talk about what happens later on to Leeds, but we'll go over another good win for Arsenal. Of course, never didn't have to break too much of a sweat against them.
That was our game in hand on City as well, so it was very important that we won that game.
It was. And we'll talk about where it leaves all the standings or whatever a little later. Next, the Liverpool match. And don't look now, but I think Darwin Nunez is getting it. I think
Yeah,
he's
I think he's
finally.
starting to figure it out.
I think he's figured out the English game, and yeah, he's been. We'll have fun talking about uh,
Yeah. Yeah, we will.
the other match, but yeah, the decisive. It was a decisive 2-0 win. I guess it took a long time for there to be any goals. It took until like the 70th minute or something like that, except for the one that got called back or whatever, because again Nunez was offside. But not only is Nunez scoring, he's also setting up people. He gets Salah that weird kind of hip check goal or whatever. But he didn't hit it in with his hand or anything like that. It's a good goal. So whatever
Yeah.
works. So yeah, just the way that Liverpool was running this past week. Yeah, considering they got a scoreless draw, I believe, the week before. Who was it? Everton. They couldn't find a goal against. It was Palace. Crystal Palace. They couldn't find a goal against.
Palace, yeah.
Yeah, they have no problem with Wolves, and we're going to talk about the Manchester game in a bit. Let's go to finally. Let's make it to the Saturday games now. City doing their part, they win, taking on Newcastle. And what has happened to Newcastle?
I don't know. I was watching this game and it was 1-0 City, and Newcastle seemed to have some momentum and was coming close. And I just had this thought of like, City's going to score on their next attack. And then they did.
That first goal, that Phil Foden goal, he gets to walk through like four guys because everyone is so afraid of coming anywhere close to him because of the
Yeah.
penalty. It's like
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about the penalty if you're just going to let him go at net. You gotta put a man against him, like you just free wandering. Any like I think he was
Yeah.
kind of shocked that he was so unmarked. Just kept going and saying, okay, I'll try his shot from here, no problem. Scores. Yeah, it's like Newcastle has been studying Chelsea games for some reason. They're playing that kind of
Yeah.
football, afraid football.
They've definitely fallen off in 2023. They had a great start to the year, but it's just sort of been like, I mean, they've still only got 3 losses this year, Newcastle, 2 of them in the last few weeks. But
They're not
they're just
scoring.
not they're not scoring. It's not the same.
No,
They
like
haven't won a game in their last 5 matches. Their last 5 results are 3 draws and then 2 straight losses.
where's Almiron? Like, where are these guys? These guys that I was so high on in the beginning of the year. What's happened to them? Just I
No
don't know.
idea.
I guess people get more tape on Newcastle. I guess they just figure out what Eddie Howe's doing. They figure it out. They can go against it, but still, like these guys aren't pressing. They aren't pushing the ball forward. You got so much speed and so much talent. You're not using it. You're bogging down in the in midfield and stuff like that. It's like you got to press. You got to run, especially against City, who's susceptible to that. They are. That is not a fast back line. If you can run on City, you're going to score. They let goals leak in them, but if you're not pressing, you're not going to get anything. And turns out they're good. They can score for whoever. Holland doesn't score, but you don't need him to. 27 goals this year for Erling Holland, and they didn't even need him to score again.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Moving on to another London derby here. We got Villa. We got Crystal Palace and Wilfred Zaha back, and looks like he comes right in to score in the 4-minute mark or whatever. But I guess it was offside.
Did you just call this a London derby?
Oh, sorry. Just I'm thinking ahead. Villa and Palace are playing.
Okay.
Zaha gets a goal 4 minutes in, but yeah, I guess he was offside. I didn't really see anything that told me he was offside.
I didn't see anything wrong with that goal either, but I guess his toe was offside because we're back to that shit. So
It's just against the spirit of the rule, I think. Again, like all of these things, all VAR, all the stuff. It's easy. Run everything in real time. You just get another look at it. That's all you should do. You can't break it down into the milliseconds and stuff like that. They're still human beings. Just have a look at it in real time. Does that look like it's offside to you? That's all you have to do. All this weird and looking to see where the angle is, and then they would get out of so much trouble. Like VAR themselves would get out of so much trouble if they just didn't just like take a look at it. Does this seem right? And it's like if you think yes, okay, that's fine, that should be all right, then it's fine, count it. But anyways, didn't count. But then Joachim Anderson uh, makes a bit of a mess of a
Just
Matty
a
Cash
bit.
cross, a bit of a mess. I don't know if it just bounced off him that weird way in the thighs and then goes in, or if it kind of almost looks like he kicks at some point or whatever. He just makes an absolute meal out of it, and it goes in the net. Uh, Took away a goal from our old buddy Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins denied. Well, because he would have scored. Like that ball was going in either way. If that kid doesn't make, if Anderson doesn't make a play on it, it goes to Watkins. It's in.
Yeah.
He had 6 goals in a row, 6 games in a row. He scores Ollie Watkins until that. But again, they didn't need it. Villa goes through again. Another okay result for it's a good result for Villa, but
Yeah.
they played fine.
I'm starting to wonder about Patrick Vieira's job security.
100%. 100%. Can you think of any invincibles that could take his spot? Maybe Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry can go and coach for them instead of being the assistant coach for Belgium or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Brighton beats West Ham, so that's good. At least West Ham loses.
It beats West Ham. They destroyed West Ham.
Yeah. There's been a few teams to reach the 4-goal mark. Brighton, the latest. How's Matoma? Matoma's been amazing.
He's great.
Yeah,
he's really good.
Yeah, that first goal with that weird tackle. I think it was Jared. Was it Bowen? Jared Bowen just kind of runs through him in the box. It's like, yeah, like if Matoma goes to ground and stuff like that. But of course, you're going to call that isn't a 50-50 thing or whatever. It's a ref's decision. You had no choice. You had to call a penalty there, and then it's McAllister taking the penalty kick. Were you at all surprised with that?
I was somewhat surprised at that.
I was somewhat surprised with McAllister coming up there, but it goes in. Matoma gets a goal himself. Made a real nice cut or whatever, and they found him streaking towards the post or whatever. It was a nice little goal. Nice to see Danny Welbeck get a goal. That's a name we don't get to say very often, Danny Welbeck. Yeah. But there you go.
I feel like Brighton has adjusted very well post Graham Potter leaving.
Oh sure. Oh yeah, they've been
much better than some teams would have.
Yeah, I think they've been better since he's left, which is amazing. And guys like Matoma getting the chances and stuff like that, and they're losing players, and other players are stepping up. They've been. I've really liked the way Brighton's played. They deserve their spot. Where are they after this latest run? They are
they're eighth.
They're eighth spot. 38 points. So Chelsea's going to be sniffing around at them here pretty soon, but they're right there with Fulham. Newcastle is.
They're tied with Brentford. They're ahead of Brentford on goal difference.
Yeah, Newcastle's spot is in danger. That European spot is in danger.
Yes, but Newcastle's already down to 6th. So.
Yeah, here's the deal. I think the show's been running for about 15 minutes. I think we've been in a jovial mood. And it's about to get a little bit better. It's not often that during the rundown I like to save the things that make me happy, usually towards the end. I got to pick one right here, dab smack in the middle. The Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Oh, I loved this.
Beat North London's Tottenham Hotspuds unbelievably, and Spurs had 0 luck this entire game. 2 off the crossbar, hard off the crossbar, dominating possession over the first hour, and then just ran out of gas. They had nothing left, and Wolves got the jump on them. And okay, Adama Traore is a big dude.
Yes, he is.
He is a big, impressive looking man. That kick he does in the air with the little flicker or whatever was hilarious. It works, and so much power off his toe and stuff like that. It was legit. It was a rocket shot. Well, kind of arcing or whatever, and down off the bar and in. But just the way he goes up and goes, boo, so fun. I loved it. That's your poster. That's your poster for Adama, right there.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, to see Harry Kane upset, as I've said before, makes my heart smile. Makes my cold, dark heart smile.
There was a lot of talk about how Antonio Conte was to blame for this, and he wasn't even on the touchline, which I thought was very funny. Also, it cracks me up that Antonio Conte has been nominated for Manager of the Month, and he's only managed once in that span. It's all been the assistant.
There's been talk now also of him losing his job, like the same the same kind of sources or whatever that have people like Graham Potter and stuff like that's always going to be out of his job every week and stuff like that. But now they're sliding Conte into there, and they were just replacing it with the same people, like Pochettino again. Like no. I think they'll be fine.
Rebecca Lowe, who hosts the NBC studio coverage here in the States. She has this little like podcast thing called The Lowdown that she does, and her panelists on the show ask her questions and we get her opinion. And her opinion is that Antonio Conte is not a good fit for Tottenham and should leave at the end of the year, regardless of what happens for the rest of the season. And I was just like, that's just strange to me. Like they're not a good team.
Yeah.
But
he should just pick up and leave. Understand, he makes a lot of money. He isn't just going to leave it. They can fire him. If they don't like him, they can fire him, and he gets to keep his money. But we've been there. Like, he was a Chelsea man before, won the Premiership with Antonio Conte. First time I ever saw Chelsea, he was on the touchline of that game. So I don't hate Antonio Conte. Do I wish he wasn't around? Yes, because it drives me nuts to see him. And do I wish Tuchel would have taken a round out of him after that game at the Bridge? Yes, I do. 100%. I think that would have been amazing.
I would have been behind him doing that too.
Yes. Tottenham is who they always are. Tottenham is never going to be a threat to win a title. Ever.
Tottenham's not good.
They're not
at all.
They got one guy. They got one guy. And he seems to score from whatever and gets a lot of rope. Like, he gets a lot of leeway from refs. He's very physical in the box, and they seem to be okay with it.
I saw something on Twitter, and I don't remember who said it, about how it's fitting that the guys that are the top goal scorers in the history of the Premier League, Shearer and Harry Kane, are on teams that never won anything or will win anything.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
they're
just
they're not team guys.
They're not going to win it. They're not team guys. The team plays to get the ball to them instead of trying to take the shots themselves. And it's just not, it doesn't work. It's not going to work. It's not going to win anything. It might get them to the Champions League, but they're not going to win. They're not going to beat Barcelona or AC Milan or anybody like that.
I think it's a big win for Tottenham to get to 4. I think that's a big win for that organization to get to 4 every year. They're never a threat at 3 or 2. They had one chance. The year that Leicester won. No, somebody made sure they didn't win it. I can't remember what team that was, but I bet you they're pretty good-looking guys. So yes, another Tottenham loss. Relief for me, because at the same time, Chelsea finally fucking did it. They finally beat somebody in relegation. They beat 2 chances against Southampton, couldn't do it. Our previous attempt at Leeds, we couldn't do it. In one of the worst football matches I've ever watched Chelsea play. They come through. Thank fucking goodness for that, because if they would have lost to Leeds, I would have burnt my own house down or something. I would have done that. So, João Felix had a pretty good game. another one off the woodwork and stuff like that. They still need to find some way of running with him. Like you can see all the talent is just trying to get him the ball, and especially with Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz playing forward is crazy because he's a back guy. He should never be going forward, but that's where they have him. They have him as their supposed striker or whatever right now, and they just made sure that he's going to be the guy taking he's our designated penalty kick taker now. It's like, okay, whatever. We never get penalties anyways, so it's not a big deal because no one's ever fighting to get the ball in the box. But that's I'm getting a little negative there now. I was very excited about the win. And how about Wesley Fofana? And how about this? We actually score a goal from a corner. Unbelievable. Chile with a nice cross in, and Fofana just went higher than everybody. A healthy Wesley Fofana uh, is really exciting for me. And they went back to a back three. They went a 3-4. It's a 3-4-3, even though you play two and then the 1-4, the one being Havertz for whatever freaking reason. It doesn't make any sense. But it seems to work. The 3-4-3 seems to work for this club. You got your wingers going back and forth or whatever wide. No Reece James in this game either. But everybody seemed to play okay, which is good. And it's good to see Chilwell having a good game. But he's so tiny. He's so tiny. Like, no wonder he's crossing the balls in and stuff like that from the corner. How can you expect him to fight for any kind of space in the box? So there's that, but I think he was solid defensively. He kept his man marked all game. It was just the Leeds team, so it can't be you can't be super excited. You're happy with the progression. I don't know why we only got one goal, and we stopped pressing for the other one. Like they bring in Conor Gallagher and stuff like that. And it's like as soon as you bring in Conor Gallagher, you just want to prevent a goal. You don't want to go for one because the guy can't pass. He can't pass for shit. He can go get a ball, but he can't do anything with it. Kind of drives you nuts after a while. But going into you're going to say this a lot about Chelsea, but the biggest match of their season coming up this week, just in the Champions League. We have to beat Dortmund. We have to score 2 goals to get through. It's the only way that Chelsea is getting European football at all in anything, like even in the continental leagues and stuff like that. The only way we're getting through is if we win the Champions League again. So a bit of a tall order, but every tall order, it's like every big journey starts with one small step, and that step is beating Borussia Dortmund at home. But that's the Champions League tale. Next week, we're in Leicester. So there's a chance that if we could possibly go on a run here. We could possibly go on a run. Big week for Chelsea. Speaking of big weeks, speaking of big matches, not in the large scale of things, maybe not the biggest match, but Arsenal beats Bournemouth 3-2.
This game,
which is good because they forgot what time the game started. They had the clock set 15 seconds behind because
Philip Billing scores 9 seconds into the game.
Phil Billing.
And I was still pretty much asleep at that point, and I was like, "Wait, what? What just happened?"
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they heard the whistle. It was like 2 passes.
Yeah. I saw a bunch of people on Twitter saying, if we had won the toss and done the kickoff ourselves, that game might have been completely different. Just that one little thing. Because a lot of people's predictions on, Arsenal Twitter were 4-0, 5-0, 6-0 against Bournemouth. And I can understand why some people were saying that, but I was like, guys, let's just pump the brakes here a little bit. And then 9 seconds in, we're 1-0 down.
Mm-hmm. Jinxed it. You guys jinxed it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know that we jinxed it, but the way that game played out, that was a lot for me while I was laying in bed sick on Saturday morning. I got into a voice chat in our Discord, patreon.com/LGR_network. $1 a month gets you into the Discord. You can hang out and voice chat with us while we do things like watch Arsenal games. Me and Matt were in voice chat together. And Matt had been watching the game too, and it was 1-0, and then he had walked away. And by the time he came back, it was 2-2. And then for some reason his feed was like 20 seconds ahead of mine. So he saw the game-winning goal, and he was like, "Oh my god, they scored!" before I got to see
that
it.
sucks.
Like,
that sucks. That sucks.
What? Yeah,
yes.
it's fine. It's fine. I didn't mind spoilers because it meant that we scored and we won the freaking game.
Yeah.
That was going 2-0 down to Bournemouth. Not ideal, but I thought that they did battle back valiantly in the second half. It was a completely different second half than it was the first half.
Yeah, I thought after Senesi scores, like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, Arsenal is going to drop points to Bournemouth. But no.
2-0 is one of the most dangerous scorelines in soccer.
In any sport, it really is. Like it's the worst lead in hockey. It's a terrible lead. But the Bournemouth keeper with that ridiculous little punch up or whatever that sets up the reason why Party scores and stuff like that. You knew as soon as that happened, it's like, oh, these guys are gonna lose. Like that was not quality. And he wasn't rushed. He He could have easily just grabbed the ball. He just went like this. Yeah, straight to Tom's Party.
They got nervous, I think, having that lead and thinking, oh, we can do this. We can beat the league leaders. And they've never gotten a point, Bournemouth, ever at the Emirates.
Yeah. Bananas.
Crazy. So, yeah, it was quite the game, and the reaction of I don't know who I feel like somebody should have gotten a yellow card for running onto the pitch.
I don't know if you've heard, the FA is looking into it.
I'm sure there's an FA charge. I'm sure there is, but I was surprised that no one was shown and off a yellow card for that. But I honestly don't think the club cares. They'll accept the FA charge and
Reece Nelson. Reece
Nelson only on the pitch, probably because only on the bench because Eddie Nketiah is injured. So Reece Nelson came onto the bench. Leandro Trossard got injured in the game, had to come off. We brought on Emile Smith-Rowe, and I don't know if he's just not match fit yet or what, but we took off Emile Smith-Rowe and put on Reece Nelson for the last 20 minutes, and he made a big impact. All the subs made a big impact.
It was like when you're thinking about the line for Arsenal goals, when you score 3, you're not thinking it's going to be Tom's Party. You're not thinking it's going to be Ben White.
Ben White's first Arsenal goal.
Yeah. What a way. And, one of the ones where the keeper's in the net when he makes a save. So at first I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And then, no, that's in. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's it. And then Reece Nelson. So, your season's going all right when you can get the randomizer out. Just pick out whoever name's in there, and they're gonna score. They're gonna get a 3-goal comeback victory for you at the death. At the death.
And in like the I think it was the 8th minute of stoppage time, of which there was supposed to be 6, but in the beginning of stoppage time, one of the Bournemouth players went down. I don't know if he was trying to say he had a cramp or whatever, but he certainly got up fast enough, and that's why they extended the extra time. So time wasting killed Bournemouth.
I hate as we've talked
time
about
wasting.
It's the worst.
I hate time wasting, but I was very happy for that bit of time wasting because otherwise he would have blown up in 6 minutes and we would have had a draw. So I was in voice chat with Matt. I was like, once I got back to 2-2, I was like, Matt, a draw is not the worst thing in the world. We'll still be 3 points up on City. We'll still have the lead. And then I screamed when Reece Nelson scored that goal.
I think you messaged me just a big thing that says fucking Reece Nelson or something. I
put that in the sports. Discussion
Too
channel.
Funny.
I was so happy, and I spent the rest of the day on Twitter just reading people's tweets and seeing the reaction videos. Granted, Xhaka's wife was in the crowd, got it on Instagram from the crowd when the goal went in, which was pretty cool. It was I had so much fun that day, and then I didn't know the Spurs result at that point. So when I finally checked the scores later that day, I was like, oh, Chelsea won. That's good. Snark will be in a good mood on the show. And then I was like, oh, Spurs lost? This just made everything better.
It was a terrific day. Saturday was a terrific day.
Sunday morning was pretty nice too.
Sunday was pretty nice. We're going to talk about that in a minute. That next game, like the afternoon game, for some reason, was Southampton and Leicester.
Yeah,
Usually,
I don't know why.
usually, yeah, usually they're gonna want a couple bigger names or whatever for that later start. I guess you'd say. I guess it's afternoon Eastern time, 11 o'clock for us here in Central. Southampton less, but I liked the game. I thought it was fun. I was entertained by that game. Uh, is it a little weird to see James Ward-Prowse miss a penalty? Is it too close for him?
I mean, maybe.
The
I mean,
best
you
is the color.
wouldn't think that that's the thing that, yeah, but
The
it
color
it
guy
was.
saying James Ward-Prowse on penalties likes to go to the keeper's right. So watch him go to the keeper's right. So Danny Ward just went to his own right. Saves the. There was no real pace to that ball either. I don't know if he was just maybe thinking about it. He stood over the ball too long or whatever. It's strange. Maybe he just needed a wall in front of him and a guy lying down or something like that just to get him focused. He needed some more guys in front of him, but uh, anyways, didn't go in, but Southampton, just minutes later or whatever, goes in. It's Alcaraz and a nice run, and Danny Ward coming way out and it goes right through him and stuff like that. But Leicester has all kinds of chances to win this, or at least get a goal. All kinds. Inacho, maybe three, four quality chances. He has to convert those.
Yeah,
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 he let his team down there, and then again another at the death moment. Harry Suter takes a header and puts it off the crossbar in the very last second of the game. It hits the crossbar. 2 seconds later, they're blowing the whistle.
yep.
A little unfortunate. No one's gonna cry themselves to sleep over Leicester. I'm sure people
No,
in Leicester and probably are pretty
maybe.
okay with it. They're probably pretty okay with it. Leicester is in trouble. Uh, they're only 3 points out of being relegated. Need to get some
Yeah,
wins and got a big match
that
against Chelsea
relegation
next week.
that relegation battle is pretty tight. I
Yep.
mean, there's only 6 points separating 12th from 20th.
I just kept looking at the 10 spot and I was like, okay, I think we're 12 points. We're 12 points out of it. It's absolutely insane. We're this far into the season, and I'm looking to see where Chelsea is getting relegated. But these are the times we live in now, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah,
We're not getting relegated. All right.
no,
Uh,
I
moving to
don't think
Sunday.
Chelsea's getting relegated.
No. We'll talk about the other one first. Forest, Everton. I know it was a entertaining match. Lots of
It was a
goals.
game.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was lots of goals. Uh, Damari Gray gets a penalty shot goal. Uh, Brennan Johnson. This is who I wanted to talk about. And I remember we talked about him when uh, uh, Chelsea played Forest in Nottingham, and I was really impressed. I thought he was pretty. He was a physical forward. I thought he was fast. Like the way that he worked off the ball as much as he worked on the ball. Gets both Forest goals. Uh, 7 goals this year for Brennan Johnson, the Welshman Brennan Johnson. Uh, More than any other Chelsea guy, I can tell you that. But yeah, good for him. And he just seems like
he's
he's a
doing
young
great.
kid, and
Yeah,
yeah, he's a young kid. Uh, but yeah, rounding into form. Forrest, I think, should be safe. But yeah, Everton manages to get a point after a fair drubbing earlier in the week or whatever. They managed to find a couple
yep,
goals, and Forest wins at home. So maybe a little surprising there. You'd figure they should be able to take the 2 points from them, but uh, oh well, 1 point's fine. It's a result. It's a result.
yep.
100 years from now, no one's ever going to remember. 100 years from now, someone might remember this.
Yes.
The big marquee matchup. Two of the biggest rivals in sport get to go head to head at Anfield. Now, the run of play has favored Liverpool as of late. I think they beat them quite soundly twice last year. I believe they even scored 5 goals, if I remember right, against them last year. But United won their only matchup this year. And that first half, United was was running well. They were doing good. Plenty of chances. Liverpool only had one shot on net in the first half. It turns out it was by Cody
It went
Gakpo,
in.
and it goes in. It's a sign of things to come.
The fact that this game was only 1-0 at halftime just makes it even better, in my opinion.
An absolute frigging bloodbath. And as a fan of this league for a long time now, always wanted to see a United team get smashed like this, get pulverized like this. They were taken out behind Anfield's woodshed and whooped 7-0. 2 more goals for Nunez. Yep, go ahead.
Especially after last week when they won the Carabao Cup, and all of United fans on Twitter were like, "We're the best team in England. We're going to be in this title race."
Come on. What are you guys doing?
Like Casemiro and Martinez and Varane are supposedly the best trio in the history of the league. Like fans were going nuts last week after the Carabao Cup final, and
they were
back down to earth where they belong.
They had a bit of a strut to them and stuff like that. And Marcus Rashford was on. Had scored in every game since the World Cup,
according to people.
Yeah. Casemiro. Anyways, that's a way for Rashford to end his run. 7-0. That's Gakpo with 2.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Darwin Nunez again with 2. Mo Salah with 2. They're getting goals from their guys. The guys that need to score were scoring.
Mo Salah now has scored more Premier League goals for Liverpool than anyone else. He passed Robbie Fowler in that game.
Yeah. Oh well. lots of teams, lots of players these days getting that. Like Harry Kane just does it for Tottenham, and now Mo Salah and Liverpool and stuff like that. So, good for him. But I still. He's been at Liverpool for so long, but I'll always remember him in that Chelsea blue shirt that he had for like a year and a half. Mo Salah, just shaking my head why the special one got rid of him. But what are you gonna do? Firmino scores. Also announced this week that he's going to be leaving or whatever. He's been there since 2015, won every conceivable trophy at his time there, but he's behind Gakpo now and stuff like that. They're running Gakpo, took his place, and he has 8 goals this year. Like Firmino's like it's not
Firmino's
like
made an impact when he's been on the pitch.
Yeah, and 31 years old. He'll find a place. Probably wants to go down south or something like that. He'll go to Spain. He'll go to Italy. I don't see him getting picked up by I don't see him going to another Premier League squad. I don't think
he's going to another Premier League team.
Yeah, even if he could start, it just wouldn't make any sense for him to do that. But everybody can bathe in the glory that we know. Manchester United can get destroyed 7-0 on a Sunday afternoon.
Fernandes in this match was hysterical to watch.
Oh yeah.
I mean, trying to buy fouls, trying to buy penalties. He was. It was embarrassing.
Beard, that ridiculous beard.
It was the captain. I saw. It was embarrassing.
That's good. That's good. They should have to wear this They should wear this for a while. United. Yeah. I don't think they will. Who do they get next week? So they get Southampton at home. So they can wear it for
somebody.
They can wear it for.
There was somebody that pointed out on Twitter that since the World Cup break, United has had the easiest schedule.
Yeah.
Of any team in the league, and then they finally came up against a good team and got destroyed.
And considering, I think, and and I'd say they ran into Liverpool at the right time. Liverpool finally starting to get it a little bit.
Liverpool's starting to get it together.
Yeah, they're starting to get it a little bit.
They're up to Liverpool's up to 5th. They're only 3 points behind Tottenham in 4th.
They're not getting the Jurgen Klopp sacking Jurgen Klopp. You're not hearing that as much
anymore.
Not hearing that anymore. No. So Thank goodness for that. What a nice feeling. What a nice thing to see on a Sunday afternoon.
Liverpool has now scored 7 goals against Man United there, and they also scored 9 goals against Bournemouth earlier this year at the Anfield.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
They can score when they have to, I guess. They just that beginning of the year started so poorly for them. They'll always have to fight. They're like, and it's always going to be in my head that they're that team from the beginning of the year, not the team they are right now.
I am not looking forward to our trip to Anfield.
I think you guys will be fine.
I mean, we just never play well at Anfield.
It's a topsy-turvy year. We never lose to Tottenham in Tottenham, like at the Hotspur Stadium, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the hallowed grounds of northern fucking London. And we did. So who knows? One last match. We had a match today. It was a fine match. Brentford and Fulham. No, this the other two West End teams, the lesser ones. Pinnock scores a weird one that goes off a deflection and in. Solomon for Fulham has been on a good run of form. Good run of form lately. Johnny on the spot, another one off the woodwork. He just kind of heads it in. Everybody just stopped to watch the ball go off the crossbar, except for him. And then a weird play that there's a penalty called in the box or whatever, because I had trouble seeing why it was called. Like, I thought it was just a dead play, but I guess the defender ended up kicking the other guy's foot while it was in midair. So when I finally saw it, I saw his foot moving around like a flipper or whatever, like a pinball flip. Boop, boop, boop. It's like, oh my gosh, okay, yeah, that's fine. So Ivan Toney is going to set up. Ivan Toney, who this year again has been fantastic. Goes up to get goes over the ball. The weirdest run up maybe in soccer. Well, you have those guys now that do that chugga thing, and you have, as you know, Jorginho's kind of hop, skip, and jump or whatever and through it. He takes like one step. He lines up the ball and has one step and goes through. While he's doing it, he's watching the keeper at all times. Like, he's not keeping his head down. He's trying to hide it or whatever. He's trying to stare down the keeper, and until like the moment he goes through it, he kind of looks down at his boot and stuff like that. But it's one step. I think it's pretty remarkable. I didn't even think that it looked like he gave off too much power in the shot. It's just that he's just so focused on the keeper. The keeper's can't figure out which way he's going to go and stuff like that. He didn't need the power, but it goes through. So another goal for Tony. I think Tony has like 17 goals this year, 18 goals. Well, he has 15 goals. But yeah, third in the league. Ivan Toney. Good for him. Another big, strong dude.
It's honestly a shame that he's kind of facing this lengthy ban from the FA for the betting thing, because he's been playing so well this year.
Yep. Maybe he's been betting on himself. You ever think of that?
Maybe.
Yeah, not with money. I'm just meaning philosophically. He's betting on himself this year as well. Maybe that's his deal. He's like, guys, I'm only gambling on myself. I'm just trying to be the best I can be for Brentford goddamn bees. Oh my god. So I started writing up my notes and stuff like that, and it's basically over. It's 3-1. And I'm writing the notes and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I can put the score line and stuff like that. And then for some reason, they forget that there's still about 30 seconds to play, and Vinicius gets to get a cheap one to go through, but it counts. And again, a guy that, playing in behind Mitrovic, but still he's scoring from him. I think they've got something good there. I think Fulham is going to be the team that falls the furthest back. Uh, Other than the top 10, Fulham could very good chance they might not even make the top 10 by the end of the year. Just can't trust. You can't trust a freaking team at Craven's Cottage, guys. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times or so. But that's it. That's it for the week. Now, the remarkable thing is when we're doing our little prognosticating, guessing who's going to win what, one result was going to end up in a tie. And it happened because Brentford, I picked, while you picked Fulham, and brought us even at 5 wins apiece. The victory I'm most happy about is I did predict that Wolves would beat Spurs. That's what got me in the draw.
Very nice.
It's like it's when a draw is like a win, is when that happens. But we've got a regular slate of matches this week. The next week we got more mid-week stuff. But then there's the international break after that, so we're going to have a week off coming soon. And this time it's not my fault or Mother Nature's fault. Everyone has to go play for their country's fault. Now, we got Bournemouth, we got Liverpool. Liverpool in there. Are they just, maybe they're too tired to score goals now? Have they gotten bored of scoring goals?
I somehow doubt that. I'll go Liverpool.
All right. I'm gonna, you know what? Bournemouth's at home, but yeah, I'm picking Liverpool. I'm not a maniac. Everton against Brentford, the Bees.
I will go Brentford.
Yeah, I think that one is an easy one to call as well. Even though, would that would just be the week, eh? That would be the week Everton wins, just to take down a club like Brentford. I think I'm gonna put a little star by that one. We'll see what happens. Leeds, Brighton, and what has become an important matchup at the bottom of the table.
Brighton.
I think, I just don't see where Leeds is going to get any of the goals from. I'll go with Brighton as well. Leeds needs points. They can't be dropping anything, especially at home, but I don't see them getting anything. Leicester, Chelsea. Chelsea could help out Leeds with a big win, which they're going to do. No problem, I hope.
I think Chelsea should win that game.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, Tottenham has returned back to North London, tail between their legs, but have to play Nottingham Forest.
Spurs.
Ugh, it's like you can just taste the sour bit of ash in your mouth just saying it. But I'm gonna say what you said, so I don't have to say their name. Okay. Crystal Palace gets to host Man City. I think they should be gracious hosts. They'll be more than gracious hosts, I think. Now, here we go. Sunday games. Important one. Over at Craven's Cottage again. Arsenal, Fulham.
Arsenal.
Are you sure?
Yep.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm sure as well. Well, we're picking the same. There's some chances here to change it up. Does United have it in them to show up in public, A, and B, to beat Southampton at home?
Yes. They will rebound and beat the hell out of Southampton. Yeah, and I will laugh hysterically if they do not.
If they don't, it'd be a wonderful, wonderful thing. Okay, we got West Ham and we got Aston Villa.
Probably London Villa.
Stadium. She likes Villa. I'm going to take a draw here.
West Ham's just been too disappointing. I can't even pick them for a draw in this.
Yeah, they suck. They're horrible. They're horrible people.
I'm really surprised David Moyes still has a job.
I think it might come down to who are we going to get right now. It's like he's the one who can bother walking through those doors every morning or whatever. It's like he's the one who's eaten so much pride to say that I'm a manager of West Ham Hammer Football Club, and not get physically sick, because I wouldn't. If anybody else I know would. Uh, I do enjoy that Ted Lasso starting up next week, and that the villains are West Ham. I love it. Uh, Newcastle, and Wolves. I think this is going to be a good match.
This should be a good match. I am going to pick a draw.
Smart. I am going to pick the Wolves to win.
Okay.
I'm going to go crazy. Picking Wolves. I like the form. I think they've been playing. Lopetegui hasn't playing well. And Newcastle is just floundering. They're splashing around. They haven't looked sharp. I don't know who's going to score goals for them anymore. We'll see. I like Wolves. I think they can take them. Anyways, that's it for us.
Yeah, that is it for us today on the show. Snark, where can people find you?
You can find me right here, the starting 11 on LGRN, the highlights. Also, Playoff Beards as sort of a soft restart here. We've gotten one episode out of the way leading up to the NHL playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs. Another episode probably coming before then, and probably an episode just before the playoffs start or whatever, just to set up who we think is going to win. We're going to set up the brackets, etc. You can find all that here on LGRN, the highlights, on your local YouTube network. You could try
also on the audio feed.
Oh, don't get me started on the audio feed. Could you imagine? Get to listen. You get to watch this at home. You get to listen to this in your car, your busy work day. Unbelievable. You guys are lucky. Yeah, at Snark Yeti, maybe on Twitter. Maybe not. I rarely go onto that thing. How about you, Adelia?
You can find me on Twitter at Adelia Chambo. I am somehow posting on there again. I don't mean to, but sometimes I just do. Arsenal scores the last minute goal against Bournemouth, and then I retweet a bunch of stuff. It's just the way it's been happening. Taking a break from Playoff Beards this year. Be on there probably once or twice, but not co-hosting like I did last season. But we're setting up for some good NHL coverage on Playoff Beards with Snark and Dagan at the helm. Soda will be joining you guys too, hopefully. So patreon.com/LGR_network. We just launched annual subscriptions at a 10% discount. So that means you can now subscribe for an entire year. You pay up front, but you get a 10% discount on what a monthly subscription would cost. It really helps out the channel if you feel like giving us a little bit of your support. Tier start at $1. That gets you into our Discord. It also gets you LGR After Snark, which made a return this weekend.
Triumphant return.
Our buddy Snark, our buddy Danny, and Ferris was your guest this week.
Mr. Muthana.
So, Mr. Muthana. So that's the $1 tier. There's also 3 higher tiers if you want to give us a little bit more of your support. It gets you more perks, including first time watches with Adelia, me watching movies that were recommended to me by our patrons for the first time. We'll be doing another one of those hopefully this weekend. Watch It Happened One Night, the classic film. So if you're interested,
following
on over there and
join. You watching the Holy Grail, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. You've already gotten the one.
Yeah, that happened. That happened.
Not a fan of it. You didn't like it.
Not a fan. I didn't like it.
Unbelievable. But I grew up with the thing, so
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand why it's very quotable, but I just found it incredibly stupid, and I don't find things that are that stupid very entertaining. But we have a bunch of stuff coming to the channel. We got something cool in the works that's going to end up on LGRN Entertainment soon. So go subscribe over there. And we're launching the new channel for Blokes of Wrestling on the last week of the month, right before WrestleMania. There's a pinned tweet on our Twitter account, which is LGR_network, that has a link to the new channel. Go subscribe over there if you're into professional wrestling. Dagan and Soda have a bunch of stuff cooked up for that channel, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's all going to be over there starting the couple days right before WrestleMania. I think March 30th is when we're putting stuff over there, and it's going to have the entire back catalog of books of wrestling on it. So it looks like there's nothing on there at the moment because there isn't, but it's coming at the end of the month.
Guys, this is all a trick. It's a trick.
It's not a trick. It's not a trick. But
Well,
anyways, thank you all for joining us today. And we will see you next week.